What happens when a massive cargo jet loses an engine during takeoff at one of the world's busiest freight hubs? On a seemingly ordinary November evening in 2025, this nightmare scenario became reality. UPS Flight 2976, a McDonnell Douglas MD-11 freighter, departed Louisville, Kentucky's Muhammad Ali International Airport bound for Honolulu, carrying the hopes of delivering packages across the Pacific. The evening shift at UBS's World Port facility was in full swing, with thousands of workers sorting millions of packages destined for homes and businesses worldwide. Within moments of lifting off, witnesses watched in horror as flames erupted from the aircraft's left wing. The subsequent tragedy would claim 14 lives, ground an entire aircraft type, and send shockwaves through the aviation industry. This isn't just another accident report, it's a story about engineering limits, human resilience, and the painstaking search for truth that follows every aviation disaster. For Louisville, a city whose economy revolves around this massive cargo operation, the crash represented not just a technical failure but a deeply personal catastrophe that touched countless families and communities. The legendary trijet, the MD-11, represents aviation's fascinating transition era. Born in the late 1980s as McDonnell Douglas's final evolution of the iconic DC-10, this distinctive three-engine configuration promised the payload capacity of a jumbo jet with better fuel efficiency than the Boeing 747. Engineers incorporated an extended fuselage, revolutionary winglets, and updated digital flight controls that eliminated the need for a flight engineer, reducing crew requirements from 3 to 2. However, reality proved more complicated than the marketing brochures suggested, as the aircraft consistently fell short of its advertised range and fuel efficiency targets. While passenger airlines abandoned the MD-11 by the early 2000s for more efficient one-engine aircraft. Like the Boeing 777, cargo operators discovered its hidden value. Companies like UPS and FedEx acquired these planes at steep discounts, finding them perfect for long-haul freight operations. The MD-11 could carry over 200,000 pounds of cargo across oceans, making it invaluable despite higher fuel consumption. Its large internal volume proved ideal for package freight, while its high thrust made it capable of operating from shorter runways than comparable wide-body aircraft. At the time of the accident, approximately 60 MD-11s remained in active service, all dedicated to hauling freight across continents, with retirement planned by 2032. A veteran crew faces the unthinkable. Experience matters in aviation, and Flight 2976's crew embodied this principle perfectly. The captain brought 8,613 total flight hours, with nearly 5,000 on the MD-11 itself. The first officer, serving as pilot flying that evening, had accumulated over 9,200 total hours. The relief captain possessed the most experience, 15,250 total hours, with 8,775 on type. These weren't rookies learning their craft. They were seasoned professionals who had trained extensively for engine failures and emergencies. Yet as their heavily loaded aircraft began its takeoff roll on runway 17R at 5:12 p.m. local time, they faced a cascade of failures that would test the limits of their training. What unfolded in the next critical seconds would demonstrate both the extraordinary capabilities and tragic limitations of human response when catastrophe strikes without warning. The moment everything changed, eyewitness videos captured the terrifying sequence as it unfolded. Severe flames appeared near the left wing's #1 engine as the MD-11 accelerated down the runway. Then, during rotation, the critical moment when the aircraft's nose lifts for takeoff, the unthinkable occurred. Airport CCTV footage later revealed the engine tilting upward, traversing over the fuselage, then breaking apart as it hit the ground. This happened well beyond V1, the point of no return where pilots are committed to takeoff. The crew heard a repeating bell after passing their decision speeds, meaning they had no choice but to continue flying. The MD-11, like most multi-engine jets, is designed to climb with one engine out, but losing an engine physically along with its pylon and associated systems creates consequences far beyond simple thrust loss. Hydraulic lines, electrical systems, and fuel lines running through the wing can be torn apart, compounding the emergency exponentially. Ground effect and the struggle for altitude. The aircraft did lift off, but what followed defied expectations. Flight tracking data initially suggested the MD-11 reached about 100 feet altitude. However, radio altimeter readings told a far grimmer story. The plane never climbed higher than 30 feet above ground level. To put this in perspective, that's barely clearing a 3-story building. The crew maintained remarkable control initially, keeping the wings level despite asymmetric thrust from the remaining engines. The aircraft tracked slightly left of runway heading, a common response pilots demonstrate in simulator training for engine failures. Yet despite their skill, the heavily loaded freighter carrying nearly 220,000 pounds of fuel for its Hawaii flight simply refused to climb. The left landing gear struck a UPS warehouse roof, leaving a deep gash. The plane briefly gained altitude, crossed a local road, then struck electricity pylons and oil storage tanks. Fire erupted, the left wing dropped 90 degrees, and the aircraft impacted the ground in a catastrophic finale. The human cost. Aviation accidents are measured in statistics and technical findings, but behind every report are real lives forever changed. All 3 crew members aboard Flight 2976 perished in the crash. On the ground, 11 people died, with 2 suffering serious injuries and 21 others sustaining minor injuries from burns and smoke inhalation. The crash destroyed multiple buildings and vehicles along the aircraft's path, igniting fires that burned throughout the evening. Emergency workers from Louisville's airport and city fire departments worked for hours containing the blaze and searching for victims. By the next morning, the airport reopened on a limited basis, but the debris field stretched half a mile, scattered across numerous properties. For the families of the 14 people who died, for the injured survivors, and for the entire Louisville aviation community centered around UPS's global hub, life would never be the same. The investigation unfolds. The National Transportation Safety Board mobilized immediately, and their methodical approach offers lessons in scientific investigation. The flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder were quickly recovered, yielding high-quality data and audio that captured every system warning, crew communication, and aircraft parameter during the accident sequence. The preliminary report, released just 16 days after the crash, revealed crucial evidence: fatigue, cracking in the rear mount connecting the engine pylon to the wing, suggesting a problem that developed gradually over time rather than a sudden catastrophic failure. This discovery prompted the FAA to issue an emergency airworthiness directive grounding all MD-11s and the similar DC-10s still in service, affecting cargo operations worldwide. The NTSB assembled specialist teams covering metallurgy, power plants, structures, systems, and human factors. Investigators are examining maintenance logs, component serial numbers, and inspection histories to understand if pre-existing defects played a role. They're also reviewing whether inspection procedures were adequate to detect such fatigue cracking before it became critical. Parallels to American Airlines Flight 191 in 1979, where ADC-10 also lost its left engine, are inevitable, yet crucial differences exist. That aircraft climbed to 325 feet before crashing. UPS 2976 barely cleared the runway blast fence, raising profound questions about what additional failures prevented this crew from achieving a safe climb. Waiting for answers. Why couldn't this aircraft climb? The preliminary report raises questions it cannot yet answer. Was there additional engine trouble beyond the departed number 1 engine? Did hydraulic or structural system failures render the aircraft uncontrollable? Investigators will spend 12 to 24 months analyzing metallurgical evidence, reviewing crew training records, and examining how the MD-11's automated systems responded. This investigation occurred during a U.S. government shutdown, meaning NTSB personnel conducted this vital work without regular pay, a testament to their dedication but a troubling reality for such critical safety work. Until the final report arrives, speculation serves no one. What we can do is honor those affected, support the investigators, and let evidence guide conclusions. The NTSB's transparent communication, conducting regular briefings despite limited information, demonstrates how investigations should proceed, keeping rumors and conspiracy theories at bay while maintaining public trust in the process. Join the World Documentaries community to explore more compelling stories that matter. What are your thoughts on aviation safety and the lessons we can learn from tragedies like this? Share your experiences and perspectives in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Subscribe now for more in-depth documentaries that inform, educate, and inspire deeper understanding of the world around us.